Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for another deep dive. This time, we're really digging into OpenAI. This article, The Californication of OpenAI, really caught my eye. It's like, they started with this super idealistic vision, change the world with AI, benefit all of humanity, but now they're valued at what, billions and billions of dollars.
It's a fascinating journey for sure. And that tension between idealism and, well, let's call it the reality of being a major player in the tech world, it's woven throughout their entire story.
Yeah, and it's not like there were some scrappy little startup, bootstrapping in a garage somewhere. We're talking 2015, Elon Musk, Sam Altman. These are heavy hitters launching OpenAI with the goal of achieving artificial general intelligence.
AGI,
Let's say.
right. Not just your average AI. Right. And that distinction is key. AGI isn't about teaching a computer to book your flights or beat you at chess. This is about replicating human level intelligence, the ability to learn, reason, problem solve, you name it, across any domain. Imagine an AI that can write a screenplay, then turn around and compose the soundtrack, and then analyze the film's themes in a way that's profoundly insightful.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely next level stuff. And they were clearly serious, putting $1 billion on the table right out of the gate.
It was a statement, we're not messing around here, this is the future, and we're building it.
So early days, OpenAI is laying the groundwork, releasing tools like OpenAI Gym and OpenAI Baselines. Now, I'll admit, those names don't exactly roll off the tongue.
No, they don't, do they? But they were crucial. Think of it like this. These were the gyms where AI algorithms went to train. Testing grounds to see what worked, what didn't, pushing the limits of what AI could do.
So kind of like setting the stage for the main event.
Exactly. And that main event, well, that was the arrival of GPT-3 in 2020.
Now, GPT-3, that's where things start to get really interesting. This wasn't just some incremental improvement. This was like, whoa, AI can actually write now. And I don't just mean like basic sentences. We're talking poems, code, scripts, dialogue. Even I was a little freaked out, I have to admit.
It definitely turned heads. And it wasn't just that it could generate text, it was the sheer range of what it could do. Adapt to different writing styles, understand complex instructions, even come up with creative ideas.
Which, that's amazing and all, but also kind of makes you think twice.
Right. It's that double-edged sword of AI. Incredible potential, but yeah, there are definitely some big questions that come with it. The nature of intelligence, what it means to be human, the future of work, all of that's on the table now.
And speaking of the future of work, that's where our friends at Microsoft come in. 2020, they drop a cool $1 billion into OpenAI.
Smart move, honestly. They saw where things were headed and decided to get in on the ground floor.
And it didn't stop there, that investment. This article says it could be worth $10 billion now. $10 billion.
Yeah, that's a clear sign of just how high the stakes are in the world of AI. Everyone wants a piece of the pie. But it also brings us back to that whole Californication idea.
Right, because here's OpenAI built on this dream of AI for the greater good. And now they're in bed with one of the biggest corporations on the planet.
And that's a tough line to walk. How do you stay true to your original mission when you're also chasing profits, market share, all of that?
Especially in a place like Silicon Valley, where it feels like growth at all costs is the motto.
Exactly. And it's not like there aren't internal pressures too, right? This article mentions OpenAI looking into B Corp status, trying to balance the whole profit thing with social responsibility.
Which, good for them for trying, but can you really have it both ways? It's like having your cake and eating it too, isn't it?
It's a question a lot of companies are wrestling with these days, and frankly, I don't know if there's an easy answer.
And it's not just external pressure they're dealing with. There have been some pretty big names heading for the exits at OpenAI lately.
Yeah, and these aren't just entry-level people. We're talking some of the biggest brains in AI.
Exactly. Which makes you wonder, is this just normal turnover?
Mm.
Or something else going on?
Right. Are these departures a sign of deeper disagreements about where OpenAI is headed? Are they moving too fast, too focused on the bottom line, and not enough on the potential consequences? It's hard to say for sure, but it's definitely a question worth asking.
It's like we're watching this tug of war,
Yeah, I see what you mean.
On the one hand, AI has this incredible potential. I mean, solving climate change, curing diseases, stuff we could only dream of before.
Right, and at the same time, there's this fear, what if it goes wrong? What if we lose control?
Exactly. It's like all those sci-fi movies, suddenly they don't seem so far-fetched anymore.
And those concerns, they're not just coming from paranoid people. There are real ethical questions here that we need to be talking about, which is why those departures from OpenAI, they really make you think.
Because it's like, were these people just bored, ready for something new? Or did they see something that made them say, nope, I'm out?
It's hard to know for sure from the outside, right? But when you have someone like Ilya Sutskever, one of the founders of OpenAI, leaving to focus specifically on AI safety, it raises some eyebrows.
Yeah, it's not exactly a vote of confidence, is it?
It makes you wonder if maybe things were moving a little too fast at OpenAI, you know? Like maybe they were so focused on being the first, the biggest, that they weren't stopping to ask the tough questions.
And then you've got Mira Murati leaving, too. She was their CTO, the one behind ChatGPT, right? It's not hard to imagine that maybe she had her own concerns about where things were headed.
Especially with all this talk about OpenAI going public, aiming for these massive valuations. I mean, this article throws out numbers like Uber, and that's...
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure to grow, to make money, to win at all costs.
Exactly. And that kind of pressure, it can make you cut corners, take risks you might not otherwise take. And when we're talking about AI, those risks, they have the potential to be really, really significant.
It's like, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
100%. And that's the tightrope walk OpenAI is trying to pull off, right?
Yeah.
Balancing this incredible potential of AI with the responsibility that comes with it.
It's a tough one. No easy answers.
Not at all. But it's a conversation we all need to be having. Not just the people building these technologies, but everyone.
Because this stuff, it's going to affect all of us, right? Our jobs, our relationships, the way we see the world.
It's not just about some far-off future either. This is happening now.
So what can we do? I mean, it's easy to feel powerless in the face of all this.
The first step is simply paying attention. Educating yourself about what AI is, how it works, and the potential implications. Don't just tune it out because it seems complicated.
Right, this isn't just some tech industry thing. This is about our future.
Exactly. The more informed we are, the better equipped we'll be to have a say in how this technology gets developed and used.
It's about making sure AI is a force for good in the world, not something we come to regret.
Well said. We need to be thoughtful, we need to be critical, and we need to be having these conversations now.
Now, this whole idea of OpenAI as the Bell Labs of the AI age, it keeps coming up in this article. Both known for being pioneers, pushing the limits of what's possible. But is that a fair comparison? I'm not so sure.
It's tempting to draw that parallel, but yeah, there are some key differences.
Like what? Fill me in.
Well, for starters, Bell Labs, they were backed by AT&T, a massive corporation with seemingly endless resources. OpenAI, they've got Microsoft, sure, but they're still trying to maintain their independence.
So it's like they're trying to play in the big leagues, but also not lose sight of their original vision. Tough balance.
Exactly. And then there's a question of legacy. What will OpenAI be remembered for?
Right, like, will people in 50 years be talking about GPT-3 and DLA the way we talk about the transistor or the laser today?
Exactly. It's still too early to say. Only time will tell what their lasting impact will be.
It really makes you think, like, imagine trying to explain what OpenAI is doing to someone back in, say, the 90s.
Yeah.
They'd probably think we were making a movie, not real life.
It does feel like something out of science fiction, doesn't it? But it's happening, and it's happening fast.
And it makes that whole comparison to Bell Labs even more interesting. I mean, those were some seriously big inventions, transistors, lasers, information theory stuff that changed the world forever. What will OpenAI's legacy be?
That's the million-dollar question, right? Will we be talking about GPT-3 in 50 years the way we talk about the transistor today? Or will it be a footnote, a stepping stone on the path to something even bigger?
It's kind of exciting to think about, you know?
Oh.
Like, we're right in the middle of this massive technological shift, and nobody knows how it's all going to play out.
And it's not just a technological shift, is it? It's a cultural one, a societal one. The choices OpenAI makes today, the values they prioritize, those have implications for all of us.
It's like, where do we draw the line? How much power do we hand over to these machines? What does it even mean to be human in a world where AI is becoming increasingly sophisticated? It's a lot.
It is, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed by it all. But I think the important thing is that we don't shy away from these questions. We need to be having these conversations now more than ever.
Okay, so let's bring it home. What's the takeaway for our listeners? What are we supposed to do with all this information, all this excitement and uncertainty?
Well, I wouldn't say there's one right answer, but for me, it starts with being aware, understanding what AI is, how it works, and the potential implications, both good and bad.
Don't just leave it to the techies to figure out, right? This is bigger than that.
Exactly. This is about our shared future. And the more informed we are, the better equipped we'll be to navigate the challenges and opportunities that AI presents.
Because ultimately, the future of AI, it's not something that's going to be decided for us. It's something we're all shaping through the choices we make, the conversations we have, even the questions we ask.
Well said. And if this deep dive has sparked some of those questions for you, well, then I'd say we've done our job.
Couldn't agree more. So to our listeners, thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We hope you found it informative, thought-provoking, and maybe even a little bit mind-blowing. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those tough questions, and keep your minds open to the possibilities.
And don't forget, the future is what we make it.
See you all next time.